17 seasons as a head coach, 3 natties, 2 with Florida, 1 with Ohio State. Had plenty of number 1 teams, and Urban Meyer, Fox Sports college football analyst, is now joining us. The top 25 is out today. So the first thing is, 20 of the last 21 years, Urban, the team with the preseason number 1 spot, that bullseye, does not win the national championship, but a majority of teams over the last 15 years in the top 5 overwhelmingly. So you want to be in the top 5. That talks about your personnel and momentum. You don't want to be number 1. So go to your history, Ohio State and Florida. When you had a number 1 preseason team, I would imagine you didn't love it. It was a little bit of a bullseye, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, I can't remember exactly how many times, but I know after a national championship season, so that was 3 of them, we had preseason number 1 teams, I believe, and that's really hard. I mean, that's, because you're carrying the weight of the world from the previous season, living the expectations of the previous season. But I've also talked to some voters, and it's never been harder to do a poll, because normally in the past, what you had is what you had. Now you got transfer from this school, a transfer from this school. And as we were talking before the show here, is how do you build a culture with all these transfers? It remains to be seen. Some are good, some are awful. So I'm the typical coach. Who cares about a preseason poll? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I do think NIL makes it, it makes it weird. I mean, LSU, we'll get to them in a second, has 41 new transfers. I don't know how you make that culture work 41. That is a lot of new dudes. Okay, so right. Ohio State, Texas is the first huge game of the year. It's week 2. Your takeaway on, in the NFL, you've got men. You've got preseason. In college, by week 2, you got to face the Longhorns on the road. That's a lot to bite off. Is that a little more than you'd be comfortable with in week 2?
We had Oklahoma week 2 a couple times, and that is a lot to bite off. It changes your whole offseason preparation, as opposed to if you play an Indiana-type schedule with Old Dominion and, all the schools that those guys play. They're basically scrimmages. So you do not pressure your team as much as you normally do. When you have Texas, I actually spoke to Coach Day a couple of days ago, and everything's accelerated. You got one more time, good on good, and then you better get them healthy and get ready for that game. So whenever you play one or play, your opener or your second game, a legit talent-equated game, you got to back off much earlier than normal. And I'm sure that's what both schools are doing. Yeah.
We're talking about the transfer portal, LSU with Lane Kiffin, and when you took over Florida, they were 7-5 the year before. When you took over Ohio State, they were 6-7, and you were always known like Bill Parcells in the NFL. You do really quick turnarounds. But you didn't have, you may have a junior college guy here or there, but you kind of knew what you had. You knew you weren't going to play freshmen. Well, Lane Kiffin's got 41 new guys. This is what Deion Sanders faced. This is what Lincoln Riley faced. This is what Brian Kelly did. It's just, I don't know how you do it. To me, and I like Lane, and I like their quarterback, but how would you build a culture with 41 new guys who had different staffs last year?
Yeah, that's tough. Here's the thing that I did, though, Colin. I think I don't want to take it off of that, but there's a little method to the madness. When I took over Bowling Green, I kept the defensive coordinator. His name was Tim Beckman. He was very good, because it's going to take a moment to get everything going the way you want it on offense. Same thing, I went to University of Utah. I kept a guy named Kyle Whittingham to run the defense. Very good defense. Our offense wasn't very good, so it took us about half a year to get the offense going. In the meantime, we're winning games because of great defense. Rinse and repeat at University of Florida. I kept Charlie Strong as my defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So there was some carryover, and then I went to Ohio State, and I kept Luke Fickell. So we had quick turnarounds because we kept the defensive terminology. There's a lot of continuity on defense, and as the offensive grew, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. I'm trying to remember, did Lane bring his defensive coordinator, or did he keep it? I think there's a historical factuality to it that if you keep your defense, if there's not a complete transition on defense and you're good, those are those quick turnarounds.
Yeah.
If it's completely new, then you're going to see some stumbling along the way.
Yeah. The Curt Cignetti said something which I totally agree with. So when USC and Notre Dame broke off, my take was, Well, Notre Dame doesn't play a full conference schedule. It's easy for them to say, let's play in November. And USC is like, well, I'm not going to play Ohio State one week, Michigan the next, and you the next. So Cignetti came out and said, and this was my theory. Cignetti said, oh, I'll play Notre Dame, but we get 2 home games, they get 1. And that was my take with USC. If you're not going to join a conference, then 2 out of 3 games, we get a host, and we're playing them early. I'm not playing them after Ohio State or conference. So Cignetti says it. I love him doing it because he's kind of poking Notre Dame. But I think he's got a point. And I love Notre Dame, but if you're not going to join full-fledged member, well, then guess what? You have no leverage in trying to create out-of-conference stuff. Do you like what Cignetti said?
I like everything Cignetti says. I'm trying to visualize Cignetti saying that if they were, 7-5 or 5-7, people, but he's a returning national champ. And like I've said, the best coaching job I've seen in my lifetime. So I love that. But I wonder if we're going to start to see, Colin, that Notre Dame, like I would not play Notre Dame now in the format that goes on right now. You got to win your conference, get to the playoff. No one cares. And Notre Dame used to be a big draw. It still is a big draw. But I wonder if that's one of the reasons. When you said that, I'm wondering, why does Notre Dame have such a soft schedule this year?
Well, I believe it's
here's what I think. Game is in November.
Yeah, so here's what I believe happened, because I've heard this from an athletic director. When the Big Ten and the SEC got superpowered, so Oklahoma, Texas to the SEC, I just made the SEC. That's 2 more brutal road games. And then when you add Oregon road game or Husky Stadium or USC, it's like, well, I could play 3 more road games. So all these Big Ten and SEC schools said, hey, wait a minute. We don't, our schedules now are brutal. And also, I was told this by an AD. Now with NIL, some of the brain schools, Vanderbilt's good, Indiana's good. So now I got Washington, Oregon, SC, and now Indiana. Because they're business school. They can go buy players. So all these, so the SEC and the Big Ten schools are like, there's no way we're playing Notre Dame unless it's like to kick the season off. So that's my take on what I've been told.
When you look at that schedule, I spent 5-6 years at Notre Dame, and it just seemed like you were playing top 10 teams every week. This year, you look at that schedule, and maybe it's also the fact Wisconsin's down, Michigan State's down, North Carolina's down. Stanford's a shell of what they used to be now. We'll see if they come back. So, and Boston College, look at that schedule, Colin. They're double-digit favorites in all of them. Maybe at BYU will be tough. Miami visits them in November in South Bend. I mean, that's why C.J. Carr, I got him as a Heisman guy, because look at that. He's gonna have some nice stats against that schedule.
Listen, I'm surprised that Notre Dame is this good in NIL. Academics are tough. They've always been, historically a little precious on, spending a ton of money. They always view themselves as a little above the fray. Are you surprised they've rolled out the Brinks truck? They're totally committed to it. They're building a big-time roster. I'm surprised that they're this. I'm not surprised. I think Freeman's great. But I did wonder what Notre Dame. I knew Texas would spend money. I knew the Buckeyes would spend money. That doesn't shock me. I'm surprised Notre Dame. I think they're going to play for the national championship. Are you surprised?
I think last time I was with you, I said this, and I remember it got a bunch of headlines and even a few phone calls. But when I was at Notre Dame in 1996, I know that's 150 years ago, but Notre Dame took great pride in awful facilities, no training table. You're going to treat the football players like an average student. That you don't pay the coaches. I actually got paid a half of what Big Ten coaches were getting paid.
Crazy.
Brian Kelly changed that, and no one wants to give him credit. He changed that, and now you're seeing the best facility in college football. I imagine they're spending as much or more than anyone else on their roster. The leadership of the top of the University of Notre Dame says, let's give Marcus Freeman everything he's got to do to go win a national title. I was convinced that Notre Dame's national championships were over, and they were, until this transition took place and said, we better ante up and make us Notre Dame again. And they have. It's a phenomenal transition that not enough people are talking about. Whoever made the decision to say, let's go play. Because I can tell you what it was like before. And they said, let's not go play and we're Notre Dame. We're different than everybody else.
Hey, what do you make of what's going on with Jayden Daniels? Apparently his mom's involved and they don't want him making. He's like, hey, what drives you crazy about is it his mom? And he's saying basically, don't make any money off me. And my take is Tim Tebow's number's not retired. Give me a break. Like, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I spend about 4 seconds a day on it and I read it and I'm just like, come on. I mean, why not love your school and your school love you back? And, I don't know. For me to comment on it, Colin, I really have not given it any oxygen because that doesn't interest me whatsoever.
Okay, I'm going to give you USC schedule. I want you to look right here. So let's put USC schedule up. And we're going to go, and because I got into this discussion a couple of weeks ago with a USC person. And I said, listen, so they're going to beat San Jose State, Fresno State, Louisiana, Rutgers. They better. I think Oregon's got more momentum, and I think Oregon beats them in L.A. I think they beat the Huskies. Penn State is better than people think. I think USC can win that game. I don't think they're beating Ohio State, even though it's at home, and I'm not sure about Indiana. I'd probably go Indiana. USC show no ability to win on the road in cold weather. So I have them with 3 losses. I think they'll beat Maryland. UCLA is probably a year away. I like the coach, but they don't have the personnel. So I think they're going to lose to Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State. If they do that with that schedule, what's your verdict on what to do with Lincoln Riley?
The Rubicon game is September 26th against Oregon. If they win that, I think Lincoln Riley is a coach for several years to come because I think they have a double-digit win season. If they lose that game, you watch. That's going to be momentum's going to be shot. Then you got a bunch of tough ones coming, and his job's in jeopardy. So I think the Oregon game for USC and Coach Riley is the Oregon game.
Yeah, they've been good. I will say this: at home, they're a different football team. They're really good at home. On the road, you can't convince me they can go to Indiana if it's 9 degrees and win. I just don't buy it.
I just think this year, and I've heard from some people that know from within that this is one of their better teams, if not the best teams he's had there. So,
I think their O-line.
I got them as a surprise team this year.
Okay. You're down in Florida right now. A little warm.
Oh, it's hot. It's hot, man. I just got a little workout in, and I was worried I was not going to be done sweating by the time I got on your show.
Appreciate the commitment to our show, buddy. Thanks, Urban.
Good to see you, Colin.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.